Welcome to A Slice with Dice, a podcast exploring the ideas, pressures, and possibilities shaping how we learn, lead, and grow. I'm Corey Alderdice. For over 20 years, my work has lived at the intersection of gifted education, leadership development, and school culture, supporting students as they find their strengths, educators as they stretch their thinking, and schools as they build paths that expand opportunity. Ready to dive in? Here's this week's Slice. Winter break hits differently when you're a high school junior. It's the first time in a long time when the pace finally slows, and you can hear yourself think again. You start to look up from the daily grind and realize that senior year isn't some distant point on the horizon anymore. It's right there, waiting just beyond the turn of the calendar. And whether you've been planning this moment for years or haven't given college more than a passing thought, winter break offers a quiet window for a little reflection, a little recalibration, and maybe a gentle first step into the college admissions journey. I want to talk today about what that window can look like without turning the whole thing into a pressure cooker. Too often we treat college planning as if it has to be done with a stopwatch running and a clipboard in hand. Instead, think of this as an invitation. Winter break gives juniors a chance to take stock of who they are becoming, what they care about, and how those interests are showing up in their daily lives. None of this needs to feel overwhelming or transactional. It's more about curiosity than checklists. Now, one of the easiest places to start is simply looking back on how you've spent your time over the last couple of years. Your extracurriculars, your commitments, the things you come back to even when you're tired or busy. Not because those activities need to look impressive, but because they tell an honest story about what matters to you. When students pause to consider what their activities reveal, they often find a pattern they've never named out loud. A leaning toward leadership, a fascination with design, a pull toward service or advocacy, or a love of problem solving. Now, sometimes the story is clear right away. Other times, it's only when you line up everything that you realize certain activities don't actually connect to the major or field that you think you're interested in. And that's okay. Winter break gives you a chance to reflect on that gap and ask whether you want to shift your plans or deepen your involvement so that your story feels more aligned with where you're headed next. From there, a lot of juniors get curious about specific colleges. Not the final application list, that comes much later, but a first pass at understanding the landscape. Think of it like opening a series of doors just to peek inside. What stands out about certain schools? What themes or opportunities catch your eye? Instead of ranking everything by prestige or name recognition, look for the programs, communities, and experiences that resonate with the interests you uncovered earlier. A school you never imagined or might have heard of could have an incredible environmental science field program. Another might offer a first-year research guarantee. A third might have a nonprofit incubator or a creative writing track that speaks directly to your strengths. As you browse, you don't need a formal spreadsheet, unless that makes you happy. Just take some notes about what you find intriguing. Make little connections between your growing sense of self and the environments where you might thrive. You're not committing to anything. You're just widening your lens. And that widening lens naturally leads into the question, what might you want to do next? If you notice that certain majors or opportunities keep showing up in your search, winter break can be a low-stakes time to think about how you could explore those interests a bit more deeply in your own community. Now, sometimes that means expanding something you already do, turning a one-off volunteer activity into a semester-long project, or taking an interest in photography and offering to help with your school's social media team. Sometimes it means creating something new, a tutoring initiative, a podcast, a small business venture, a local research idea. None of these have to be big. What matters is that they feel authentic. Colleges aren't looking for students who have checked a mythical box titled leadership. They're looking for students who show initiative, who have taken what they love and make something meaningful out of it. Now, of course, part of planning for what's ahead is looking honestly at where you are academically. Winter break offers enough distance from the fall semester that you can engage in a bit of self-assessment without the sting that sometimes comes with immediate feedback. How are your classes going? Are you challenged in the right ways? If certain subjects didn't go as planned, is it a sign that you might need extra support, or is it simply a moment to recalibrate your study routine once January rolls around? This is also the perfect moment to think about senior year coursework. What schedule would help you finish high school strong while still giving you space to breathe? Now, rigor matters in admissions, but so does balance. The goal is not to build a schedule that impresses everyone else. It's to build a schedule that sets you up for success and sanity during what will be one of your busiest years. And as you take stock academically, you may also find yourself thinking about the personal story you're beginning to tell, intentionally or not. Students often think essays are about dramatic turning points or overcoming extraordinary challenges. In reality, colleges respond to clarity, reflection, and voice. Winter break creates the conditions for that kind of introspection. Who has shaped you? What small experiences have stayed with you longer than expected? What problems do you find yourself wanting to solve? What values do you hope to carry with you into adulthood? You don't have to write a single essay over the holidays, but playing with these questions or even jotting down a few moments that feel meaningful can make the writing process feel far less intimidating later on. Now, before all of this starts to sound like an elaborate winter break homework assignment, here's the most important piece. Rest. Really rest. The kind where you sleep, relax, and rediscover what it feels like to not be scheduled within an inch of your life. The admissions process has a way of convincing juniors that every moment must be optimized. But the truth is that students make better decisions, write better essays, and simply enjoy school more when they allow themselves to recharge. Winter break isn't valuable because it gives you time to get ahead. It's valuable because it gives your mind and body space to recover so that you can meet what's coming with clarity and confidence. And if you do nothing more this winter break than sleep, eat well, and reconnect with people you care about and enjoy the quiet, you are already doing something that supports your future. Everything else, the reflection, the exploration, the early planning, can be woven in gently, in ways that feel natural rather than forced. College admissions is ultimately a story about alignment. Aligning your interest with your actions, your goals with your opportunities, and your well-being with your ambitions. Winter break is just a chance to begin that alignment with intention. Not by trying to solve everything at once, but by listening closely to your experiences, your instincts, and maybe even your hopes for the year ahead. And if you come out of the holidays with even a slightly clearer sense of who you are and what you value, you have already taken an important step toward the next chapter. A Slice with Dice is a production of Aldercube. Thanks for making time to reflect with me. If you're finding value in these episodes, I hope you'll subscribe and help spread the word. Until next week, lead boldly, listen closely, and keep pushing forward. I'll see you then.